Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play the Ball. There's the ball right there, away from us. Challenge 5 is all about getting the ball ahead. And also us as well, because, well, we have a series of doors. I don't really know how to feel about this challenge, because there's a couple of negative points that go through my head. Mainly because this challenge is the longest one of them all. Which is odd. Mainly because it's halfway... Maybe it's because it's halfway through the campaign. I don't know. But this full challenge is actually 6 mini puzzles put together. So let's start with the first one. Oh, there's the ball. Alright, we got it back for this section. This section actually entails getting it over there through lava. Because, you know, lava is always great. It's like we're back in Oztalk again. But this time, there's a bit more... It's a bit more special. This is one thing Oztalk didn't have. Shifting platforms. This is how we're actually easily going to get the ball across this series of bridges and underpasses to get over to the switch over there. Those little barricades and platforms moves with such speed that I wonder if the ball will actually just like freak out due to the collision. And there we have it. Easy as pie, we're able to get across the lava pits. And that is some serious glowing coming out of the lava. But just get around this corner and we can head up ourselves. And that is a Chocmool on stage. Look at that spotlight. Underlight. Now, when I was first played through this challenge, I was a bit confused at this point. You hear the noise saying that you've finished the area, but I didn't know where the ball went. It goes down here. You technically cannot leave this chamber without the ball in tow, so it's good to know where it is. I was stuck for a little bit. But the first one's down and 5 more remain. I guess the first point I can make about this specific challenge is that it feels disjointed. It's a lot of challenges that don't have really any bearing towards each other. It's just some place to put all of these little puzzles together in one place to show them off. It's another, hey, check this out kind of moment. Like this. This room technically isn't a puzzle. This puzzle is step on the switch, lower that, launch the ball into the air, and get it into the hole. It's more a glorified ancient Aztec carnival game than it is an actual puzzle. In a lot of other cases, this is actually a fairly weak puzzle. And you can also see that it makes weird things happen. If your aim is great, you're able to get that in no problem, but that's kind of one of the other things that can happen, is glitchy stuff that just makes you win. And everything resets. Let's move on to number 3. Of course, this challenge is something that you can do each of the mini puzzles in any order. So you don't need to go around the room. You can go like, hey, I want to do this one, and then the one across the room, and the one on my left. So you got choice there. Now, here's kind of one issue I have with the ball in terms of these tracks. If you don't have enough momentum, you're not going to be able to get around these corners and turns, and there's not a lot of movement for getting your magnet to do what you want it to do. Kind of stuck at this corner, so let's bring back the ball and have it get a rolling start. That's more like it, hopefully. And so the puzzle is getting the ball across the tram. How do we do this? Well, we are given a stack of 4 things, 2 other platforms. Do you know what this puzzle is yet? If you're not sure what this puzzle is yet, this is what is known as a Tower of Hanoi. A Tower of Hanoi puzzle involves getting a stack of these kinds of discs. One, like a stack of discs, the bottom is the largest and the top is the smallest. And you have to transfer the stack of discs one at a time, interchanging each between empty spaces and whatnot, in order to get the full stack from tallest to smallest, from the left side to either the middle or the right pedestal, which is empty. Now, as a puzzle itself, the Tower of Hanoi is actually a rather good puzzle. Especially when you get a lot more complicated with it. The issue I have with this is that I think it's the weakest puzzle overall, because it's not a puzzle in the sense of every other puzzle that has to do with the ball. The Tower of Hanoi does not need the ball to function, and I think that's what makes it incredibly weak. For some reason I get a bit stuck here, but other games that use the Tower of Hanoi puzzle usually are a bit more lenient and have you only move the entire tower either to the middle or to the right. And in this case it wants you to move it to the right, which means that you have to do the puzzle effectively twice. But the ball has no purpose here. You're pretty much just using the hammer and doing the Tower of Hanoi. The ball is a substitute for just clicking. And I find that this puzzle is missing the point of the ball and the game in general. So I don't know what it's doing here. That's an area that kind of baffles me. And there we have it. Just not a puzzle that belongs in this game. And I think that is a worse offender than being a bad puzzle, is just a misplaced puzzle. I can do a Hanoi however I want. I kind of don't want it in my ball game. But that leads us halfway through this single challenge. And now me sitting here not liking this challenge anymore and want to go on to the next one, but I can't. It's kind of another thing about this challenge, it overstays its welcome very easily. So the next puzzle uses the ball in a different perspective. And that perspective is effectively kind of two-dimensionally. You can see what's happening here is that you have to guide the ball and get it up to the switch there. You're able to do this by hammering on the symbols, which lower, well, in this case they raise two specific platforms, like that one, and that was the wrong one because now you're not able to lower it. So that means I have to reset, which is good because the magnet gets it back to the start. However, the magnet can just cause an infinite loop. The ball just keeps swinging around, and if the magnet stops working and it swings to the right, chances are it's going to be falling down into the pit of doom over on the right as well, which means that it'll just be shot up by the magnet again. Luckily, I think the game is programmed well enough that the infinite loop does not occur. That's the only really big problem about this puzzle. Otherwise, the 2D perspective is rather unique. Alright, so this puzzle is kind of the same way as the second room where it's launching the ball into the pipe is considered a puzzle. But this one brings back the anti-field generator. Anti-gravity field generator. I was missing a word. This is not a puzzle. This is a platforming challenge. The only way across is to use the anti-gravity field in order to get extra distance in order to cross the room. Otherwise, if you fail, you're going to be falling into the water and having to do things all over again. But the anti-gravity field makes everything way too simple for its own good. There's also not really anything very special inside the water. Other than you can see underwater, you can see the pipe that the ball would be coming after. It's just that you get to think long and hard about your failure if you do fail. Well, this leaves one last mini puzzle for Challenge 5. And we have had 3 failures in terms of puzzle. In terms of incorporating the ball in new and, you know, ways that you actually have to think about it. At least I hope we have at least 50% of the puzzles actually be kind of interesting. Alright, last one. What do you got? Well, you have the ball beside us now. That's interesting. And this puzzle is effectively similar to the other 2D puzzle. Except it's actually a little bit better because it uses the magnet easier with a lot more control. Now, the difference here is that we're not focusing on one button in particular. You have to press a series of buttons in a particular order in order to make it work properly. Yeah, the magnet works a lot better when you actually have some sort of support beams on either side to control where the ball is going to go. That was not what I wanted to do, I don't think. Yeah, because that makes that fall down. This actually calls for a bunch of resetting as well. So, there's a lot of things of this particular puzzle that the previous 2D puzzle didn't have, which is thought. A lot of thought was put into it, so it seems like the last one was an introduction to this kind of thing. But that point is kind of undermined when you can do any of the puzzles in any specific order. And now we're able to leave. Ta-da! Hooray! I'm just gonna hit all the switches now. They don't do anything though. I am effectively done with this challenge. It has overstayed its welcome. When one challenge can be as long as the last 4 challenges, that's a pacing issue. But that is it for Challenge 5. Thank God. But where does the ball go? Oh, the ball apparently just goes back up. Excellent. We'll probably have to carry it with us over the top. As the Kahua music apparently starts flaring up. Apparently things are just about to go and get serious now as we're going on to the last 4 challenges. So, I will see you next time, everyone. As we go ahead through this door, carry the ball with us, and see about finishing up this puzzle gauntlet. See you next time, everyone.